Okay, here we go once again. It is, I don't know, 19th of July. See the cracking in the soil? See that cracking even though it's wet? See how quickly it dried up? 5 minutes. And I have the water running for 5 solid minutes here, and it's going right into the soil because the sun is changing frequency and it's getting hotter. It's going nowhere. It just gets soaked in. The soil is becoming hard. This gray grass is because I'm using a winter grass. Now, before white man came, brought the European grasses, we'd have a natural burn in the spring or in the fall, and the natural grasses would come up and they'd stay green until September and October. So the cattle, the buffalo, would survive without massive influxes of water. But now with the European grasses, they dry out at the slightest drop of a hat. So we've destroyed this continent with European grasses. We've turned it into Europe. So what we've got is we've got rivers all across the world that look like that soil. They're drying out. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, the rivers are drying up. In Iran, the rivers are all dried up. They're having to use underground water. They will have to be desalinating very soon. The Caspian Sea is drying up. This snowpack we got this winter that NASA let loose was for destruction. But what we have is we have rivers around the world. We have in the southwestern United States massive river dry up caused by NASA as they flood China and Vietnam and Indonesia. Unusual floods killing millions of Chinese, wiping out their rice crops. So they're going to have to buy the California rice crop. So water will have to be diverted from the Sacramento River for the rice crops. But they're not diverted to feed China. But they're not diverting it to the San Joaquin Valley in Southern California, which used to produce a quarter of the nation's vegetables and fruits and nuts. The California governor is killing California by violating city, county, state, and federal law and closing the Sacramento River down. The Supreme Court will not hear the case. They're going to allow California agriculture to dry up and have no gross domestic product there. See, this dry grass is simply caused by the sun. And it's also a different kind of grass. It's a European grass. Now, once a river dries out and gets these cracks in them, and you'll see, despite the fact that the soil is wet, it still has the cracks. See, those are some deep cracks. And they don't go away because they sit on water. Once a river's dry, it will take years of water flow to bring the river back to life and the fish to be able to find food through that cracked soil. It doesn't instantly crack when you water it. You can see it's wet, but it's cracked and it's deep cracks. So what we're going to have over the next few years, if somebody doesn't pull the plug on NASA, the 55th and the 60th Air Wing, the U.S. satellites, and HARP, if we don't pull the plug on those, what we're going to have is massive, massive water conflict. Ethiopia, Africa, all along the Nile. Uganda, massive water conflicts as one nation tries to dam up the water and use it for agricultural purposes and deny the next nation of water. Now here it's under the trees, it looks fairly wet. It's the sun that's doing this. Without the sun, we don't get the dryness. But it's the sun. The sun has changed frequencies. And when I raised my hands on television and God said, you will continue to have sunspots until this nation turns to God. He didn't mean, okay, my word is going to last. Sorry, that's another jet. As we continually push for WAR, troop transport, McCord. Maybe Fort Lewis, but likely McCord. So as we push for WAR, more WAR and more WAR and destroy our environment, maybe Lucifer was right. Maybe he's heating up the sun from a constellation in the Pleiades system, the North Star. Maybe he's here to kill us. Lucifer hates mankind. All we know is it's getting drier and very impossible to grow gardens because of the dirt. That is a blueberry, by the way. It's a female blueberry. Or male, I don't know. It produces pollen, but no berries. We have no apples. The neighbors have no apples. Whatever is coming on this planet, we have no apples, even on our crabapple trees, which is very unusual. Anyway, you're going to see not water wars, but major water conflicts fought in court over whether or not one nation can dam up a river, or one state can dam up a river to use it for agricultural uses, as the other state gets no water. Isaiah said the Nile would run dry. Maybe it will. I don't know. All we know is that there is a massive, massive conflict building across the planet over water rights. So maybe we need the seawater pipeline that America's third party outlined. Maybe we need desalination. Maybe we need governments in the world to create microwave cannons so they can shoot it straight in the air, create a hot adiabatic layer, which means the heat rises and brings in the ocean air, which should bring rain. Maybe the other countries need to develop that. And maybe when the CIA goes in to kill them for doing that, maybe they need to have a counter response so the CIA and FBI are neutralized. Maybe we need to close down the American, Canadian, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australian embassies around the world, or at least restrict them to 2 people. You get an ambassador and a secretary. And you can have 3 consulate offices or 4 consulate offices consisting of an ambassador and a secretary. Maybe we need to do that. It's awful dry here. Mighty dry. I've never seen it so dry. Anyway, God bless. Thank you very much. We're going to have water wars across the world, water conflicts. And we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.